Greetings, students and acolytes of the Force, and welcome back to the channel. Throughout the Jedi's history, they had many internal conflicts that caused rifts and strife within their own order. Some were small bouts that were quelled rather quickly, and others were so significant that it would shape the course of galactic history as we know it. It is easy to say that the Jedi Order was the most influential faction of people in the entire galaxy. As such, anything that transpired with them would have echoes for all of time. On this channel, we have spoken about the first and second great schisms, which were events that led to the separation of the Jedi Order and ultimately the unfortunate creation of the Sith. But did you know there was actually a third great schism? Well, today we have decided to document the event of all three major schisms of the Jedi Order and their impact on the history of the Star Wars universe as a whole. These periods of time are so significant as these are eras where the Jedi themselves completely broke apart and essentially split. An extremely rare occurrence, which is why it has only ever happened 3 times in Star Wars lore. So, without further ado, let us begin. First though, according to our analytics, a lot of you guys that watch the channel haven't actually subscribed yet. So if you've been enjoying the channel and want to stay up to date with everything Star Wars related, force crush that subscribe button. Now acolytes, let us begin. Going in sequential order, let's begin with of course the first great schism. The origins of this are cited to be in 24,500 BBY, or before the Battle of Yavin. Around this time, the Jedi Order were just beginning to move their operation from the world of Tython to the world of Ossus, as the fledgling Republic was getting their start in the core worlds, and the Jedi didn't want to be associated with the Republic at first. 2 young Jedi, by the names of Xandor and Aldrin Lin, began to feel as though the Jedi Order had grown stagnant in their faith, and were exploring like they used to, while slowly beginning to restrict more and more studies of the Force itself, particularly studies regarding the dark side. Xandor and Lin departed from the planet of Ossus to establish their new Jedi Academy on Leto. They were not the only ones though to defy the dictates of the Jedi Order. Larger and larger groups left Ossus to join Xandor's new order and study the mysteries of the Force that the Jedi had since forbidden, under the rule of the Jedi Council at the time. Eventually, Xandor's followers became known as the Legion of Leto. Interestingly enough, they were originally attempting to live at peace with the Jedi Order, not wanting any conflict, but still wishing to have the freedom to study their aspect of the Force in their way and how they viewed it. However, the Jedi on Ossus and the Legions of Leto would continue to get at each other's way in ways that they could not ignore, and soon direct conflict was imminent. This is what began what is known as the Force Wars. Which side ultimately began the war is lost to history, but one of the first battles was fought on the Jedi capital world of Ossus. Claiming to wish to end the conflict early and prevent it from spilling into the Republic, Xandor led the legions in an attack on Ossus itself. Unfortunately for them though, their attack failed and the war continued unabated. This would be the first time since the Rakatan Empire that such large-scale Force user factions went into direct conflict with one another. The battles were fought on many fronts and on several planets. Although both the Jedi and the Leto wanted to keep the young Republic out of the war, unfortunately there was a large battle that was fought on Coruscant itself, after Leto tried to unsuccessfully convince the Republic that the Jedi had it out for them, and wanted the Republic destroyed or for the Jedi rule. Despite this explosive conflict, however, the war only lasted a single year. Soon, Xandor engaged in a battle with a Jedi Master named Pina. Xandor lost the duel and was slayed by Jedi Master Pina. Following this, Master Pina led a full campaign against the Leto and began methodically exterminating them one by one. The remaining leader of the Leto, Aldrin Lin, fled to a system beyond the Republic's reach, but Pina followed her, and the two engaged in one final battle, one that Lin ultimately lost. This would end the first great schism. Despite these first followers failing in their mission to become separate from the Jedi Order, their actions and influence would echo into the future, as Xandor would inspire another young Jedi to take similar actions against the fledgling Jedi Order. This is what led into the second great schism. The second great schism is arguably the most important moment in the Jedi's history. We have talked at length about the second great schism before, as this was the true birth of the Sith Order. Xandor's knowledge would drop into the hands of none other than the Jedi Knight Ajunta Pal, nearly 17,500 years later. During this time, Ajunta Pal ultimately gained a following within the Jedi Order as he began to use the dark side to mutate and alchemically alter life itself, making horrible creatures through the use of the Force. These practices were ultimately looked upon by the Council with apprehension by other Jedi as well, as memories of the First Great Schism were still very present within their minds. Feeling as though their power and freedom to experiment in the Force was threatened, the rogue Jedi saw supporters within the Order itself, but were ultimately turned away. Arguments for their cause turned into conflicts, and these Jedi were ultimately, unfortunately, exiled from the Order, taking their teachings with them. They became known as the First Dark Jedi, and launched a full-scale war against the Jedi Order that would come to be known as the 100-Year Darkness. Retreating from the Jedi world such as Tython, the exiled Jedi raised an animalistic army of darkside abominations. However, even against these incantations of the dark side, the Jedi began to push the rogue Jedi back, the Force itself aiding them in their cause. The animalistic army was easily overpowered by the power of the light side and the Jedi that wielded it. But the exiled Jedi refused to surrender. Duels to the death between Jedi became the end of many battles. Eventually, the Dark Jedi were overrun by the sheer number of Jedi, and the sheer number of those that still followed the light side of the Force till the end, to the point where there were only 12 remaining Dark Jedi in existence. 12 Dark Jedi to oppose the hundreds of light side wielders. After this, the Jedi would not choose to execute them, and would ultimately exile the Dark Jedi into the Outer Rim. They found themselves listlessly floating through space until coming upon the world known as Korriban, and establishing what is known now as the Sith Order. For more information about what happens next, we have several videos going into more detail about the creation of the Sith, and I highly recommend checking those out if you are curious. First though, we must continue with the Third Great Schism, and finally, we are here. There is one event that not many people know about in Star Wars lore, which is the Third Great Schism in the year 4520 BBY. This is the most unique of the three, as the other two schisms are highly documented. There is very little information known about the exact causes or events of the Third Great Schism beside what we are told in the Jedi Path of Chief Librarian Restelia Quist, who served as the Chief Librarian for many years. Like the Second Great Schism, a small sect of the Jedi were influenced by the teachings of the Sith and the dark side, and waged a series of conflicts that were mostly contained on Coruscant. After a period of intense fighting, the new Dark Jedi were forced to fall back to the Voltar system, where they discovered ancient technology that was believed to have been used to artificially construct the planets of the star system. The Dark Jedi attempted to use this newfound technology and the machines, including the powerful cosmic turbine, but lost control of the machine and the technology, resulting in the annihilation of the Voltar system as a whole in an event known as the Voltar Cataclysm. The cosmic turbine, for those of you who may not know, was a giant technological marvel created by the Celestials that had the ability to manipulate gravity on a mass scale, able to artificially create hyperspace openings and even pull entire ships out of hyperspace. The events of the Third Great Schism were allegedly also to contribute, if not directly cause, the new Sith Wars, as well as the Jedi Civil War in the years to come. Unfortunately though, it is not very documented at all, although it did result in much death and chaos in the Star Wars galaxy. So, students of the Force, what did you think of these moments in Star Wars galactic history? Do you think this somewhat justifies why the Jedi are so keen on immediately quelling any sight or indication of darkness within their ranks? Or do you think this growing paranoia and rigidry only contributes to the problem? Let us know down below, and as always my friends and acolytes, may the Force be with you, and we hope that you have a great day.